Sometimes you think, well, it's just coincidence, or it's just odds, or just sometimes your bags come and sometimes they don't. No, everything that happens to you in your experience is a direct response to the vibrational frequencies that you are offering on any given subject. You just often don't realize that you're offering those frequencies until you get the results. So there are two ways to know what you're doing vibrationally, and what you're doing vibrationally really matters, because what you're doing vibrationally is what equals your point of attraction. So what you're doing vibrationally is causing the universe to respond, and there are two ways for you to know what that is. What am I doing vibrationally? One is, how do you feel? Esther had several very clear promptings of different action that she could take that she overrode with practicality. And looking back, she saw several things she could have done differently to make it better once it got tumbling in the wrong direction. So the first thing that you can do is pay attention to the way you feel, and do your best to find the best feeling thought or action, the path of least resistance thought or action. And the other way you can know what you're doing vibrationally is wait till it manifests. And when you're sitting at the gate all night, you know, yeah, that's right where my vibration was. That's right where it was. That's right where it was, in expectation of something unwanted. So we're eager to talk with you today about anything that matters to you, with the understanding underpinning, the premise being that you vibrate your own reality into being by your habits of thought. And so the question on the table is, do I have the ability to think other than what happened? Can I have had an experience with a person, with a situation, with a company? Can I have had an experience, and can I resist the temptation to regurgitate the unwanted aspects of that enough that I can get out ahead of that vibration and leave it in a new place? That really is what creating your own reality is all about. And so as we watch Esther, and you too, we see you doing a whole lot of things that really work for you. We can feel your optimism rising. We think that you are living wonderful lives, and we know that you can feel the improvement since you've decided to be more deliberate. But we want you to know there will forever be, all day, every day, opportunities for you to refine your vibration. And when you get good at it, you will feel like the master of the universe, where things are responding to you. There are so many things that are working for you behind the scenes that you don't even know are working for you behind the scenes, because they're working for you behind the scenes, because they are flowing on the energies of your positive expectation. Or they are flowing behind the scenes on the energy of the beliefs that you hold that happen to be a vibrational match to the desires that you hold. But you don't have to take pot luck. You don't have to create by default. You don't have to sit by the gate all night waiting for a bag that isn't going to come until the next day. You don't have to do any of those things. You can be the creator of your own experience. You can let go of the things you can't control while you give your undivided attention to the thing you can control. And that thing you can control is your own mood and your own attitude by the thoughts that you choose to think. But you've got to get out ahead of it. And why? Because the law of attraction is responding to what's active in your vibration, and what's active in your vibration is whatever it is, and the law of attraction is bringing you more of it, and that's what causes a momentum. So if you're thinking a non-resisted thought, if you're thinking a thought of well-being about yourself or someone else, and then the non-physical energies of the universe, all that is non-physical, who is purely non-diluted and non-resisted, joins you in that thought, you've got one powerful momentum going. And people who are watching you are noticing the magnitude of your creative prowess. In other words, they're just knocked over by what they see happening all around you. But if you are giving your attention to something unwanted, law of attraction brings you that too. The distinction that we want you to hear is that when you get moving out ahead of it with the non-physical energies, with that non-resistant source energy, the ratio is enormous. Every thought that has ever been thought still exists. So everyone who's ever had a bad experience with any airline or with any specific airline, those thoughts are out there, and the law of attraction has gathered them together in a river or stream that you could tap into. And when you tap into a river or stream, when Esther tapped into the stream of the people who have felt disrespected by United Airlines, it was a big stream. It was a big stream. But in comparison with the stream that expects well-being for her, it was infinitesimal. So we want to call to your attention, why is the now reality getting more of your attention? And the only reason is because we love you so much. It's easier to observe than it is to dream. It's easier to observe what is and complain about it than it is to step back from it. And why? This is a reprieve for you. This is us saying to you why it happens that way. Momentum is momentum is momentum is momentum. That's why you've got to get out ahead of it. You can't push your car down the hill in San Francisco and stand at the bottom of the hill in front of the bay and say, when it gets here, I'll stop it. You won't. The momentum will not allow you to stop it. If you were at the top of the hill and it started to roll, you could step out in front of it and you could stop it. If you get out ahead of it before the momentum is too great, you can redirect it, you see. But you can't be lazy or sloppy or unknowing about the way it works. Sometimes your thoughts started even before you were born because they started with your mother, and her thoughts started with her mother's mother and her mother's mother, and some fathers too. There's a whole lot of people thinking a whole lot of things and passing those habits of thought, those beliefs on to the next generation and the next generation. But the question that you want to ask yourself is, are these thoughts that I have inherited, not just inherited but practiced and made my own, are these thoughts that others thought and spoke to me and now I'm speaking them too? Don't tell that airline joke. Do not tell that joke about the baggage. Don't tell that joke. That's the way those things get stuck in your vibrational craw. And then these beliefs that you've inherited clash with new desires that your now life experience is producing within you. You are creators who have come with such intention. And you knew that there would be contrast, and you knew that the now reality would be the bouncing off place into new ideas. And you knew that when you launched the new idea, that there was a larger part of you, your inner being part, that would hold that non-contested, that non-resisted, that pure positive energy desire, and that all that is source energy would hold it there for you as a beacon, as an emotional beacon that you could feel your way to. But you got to care about how you feel. And it's got to be more important to you that you feel good than that you get your luggage. It's got to be more important to you that you feel good than that you be right and United Airlines be wrong. It's got to be more important to you that you feel good, period. You want to feel good, period. But you got to get out ahead of that a little bit, you see. Got to get out ahead of it. So we've enjoyed this interaction immensely. There's nothing that we could possibly tell you that would be of any more value to you. We think you got it. Esther gets two kinds of letters or emails or phone messages. One says, thank you for all the stupid things you do. Because, well, they're not usually that harsh, but often. Because in your reaching for guidance, we all benefit. That's one letter she gets. And the other letter she gets is, if you can't figure it out, what chance do we have? She's figured it out. So here's the question that we have for you. You're going to like this. Do you think that Esther should just bite the bullet and fly United Airlines? Not a good idea, is it? Not now, because it's not the path of least resistance, is it? In fact, is there a path of more resistance for Esther than to get on that sucking airline? We're not asking if it's right or wrong. We're just saying, is that Esther's path of least resistance? It isn't, is it? So are we asking you to sort out what's right and wrong in the world? No. We're asking you to figure out what your path of least resistance is, because your path of least resistance is always in harmony with the source within you. But if you have not yet found that alignment with that, in other words, so here's the way we would speak it to you, to any of you about anything. We would say, Make a decision to go or not to go. Make a decision. If you've been invited to a family reunion and you don't want to go, then don't go. Or if you feel like it's really important that you go, then find a way to want to go and then go. But don't not want to go and then go. So decide to go and line up with that, or decide not to go and line up with that. You see what we're getting at? Because it's not about right and wrong in the universe. We are certain that there are plenty of people, maybe one, who's had a good united experience. Some time ago we told a similar story as this one about Delta Airlines, and the first person who came up was a Delta employee. So if you work for United Airlines